Hi and good morning. My name's Jonathan Baillie. I'm editor of Health Estate Journal, the HEJ magazine, and I'm here with Graeme Tucker, who's director at Power Control, to talk a little bit about the business and some of the key challenges and demands you're seeing at the moment, Graeme. So good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
For the less knowledgeable about Power Control, can you tell me a little bit about the history of the business? I think it's a relatively new business, is it? It's celebrated 30 years?
Yeah, 30 years in the industry. So our primary business is backup power solutions, so UPSs. And Power Control was started in 1994. So it's our 30th year this year. For the majority of the time, privately owned company. We're specialised in uninterruptible power supplies. So various different sizes of UPSs in all different types of industry. So our industries range from data center industries, industrial, healthcare, obviously, processor control, but anywhere that needs critical power, which these days is nearly absolutely everything.
And how international a remit? Do you have customers worldwide, or you're mainly UK-centric business?
Yeah, mainly UK-centric. We do have customers in different parts of the world, but we're mainly UK-centric. Obviously, we're part of Legrand's group. So Power Control was acquired just over 2 years ago by Legrand. So we're now part of and fall under what Legrand offer in the UK. And obviously, we're with them today representing with Legrand, and they offer a variety of products into, again, a variety of industries, building services, data centres.
But focused on power solutions mainly?
Power infrastructure, support, cable management, fire safety, and power infrastructure, transformers, bus bars, etc. And we're obviously the power backup arm, the subsidiary of Legrand in the UK. So we specialise in uninterruptible power supplies, but also the maintenance of uninterruptible power supplies, installing them. So we work with customers where we box shift some products, so some small UPSs we'll put into the market, into various markets. But also we specialise in providing a solution, turnkey solution for the client as well. So we're more of a service organisation. That's been our history. Supporting manufacturers with product as well.
And presumably in healthcare, reliable UPS systems are particularly critical, because it's not the kind of facility that you can ever have much downtime. You've got to minimise it.
That's right. And healthcare, like any industry, you look at the risks, and where there's a high risk, if the power goes down, that's where you put backup power supply. So the two key areas in healthcare is, obviously, there's patient risk, risk to life from the patient. And there's, critical applications, there's infrastructure risk. So within a hospital, for example, a UPS would support the network server racks spread out through the hospital, the data center, the computers, scanners, so MRI systems, but then the patient care areas, so the theatres, recovery, the special locations that require power backup. So that falls under the hospital guidance, the HTM.
Which HTM would that be on?
HTM 06.
Okay.
The electrical side.
Sure.
Yeah. So in certain categories, you need uninterruptible power, and that usually works along with IPS, isolated power for the medical IT system as well. So various areas of hospital, you can use a UPS system in, but we specialise a lot within sort of the patient care area.
Does the fact that healthcare technology, EBME technology, all diagnostic equipment has become more and more sophisticated, more advanced, does that tend to give a higher power requirement anyway in hospitals these days to deal with?
They're generally not so much. There are some when new equipment comes in, sometimes they demand a different characteristic of electrical supply, but generally the newer equipment, the better it is for UPS actually, because they're more efficient and pull the power from a UPS in a clean way. So new equipment is better, but it's more their demands as well. So it's keeping up with the scalability of, if new equipment comes in, it's making sure the backup power's in place to keep up with the demands as well.
And who tend to be your first sort of points of contact, or your clients? Is it estates and facilities departments? Is it M&E consultants?
Yes.
Who typically? Okay.
Yeah, so if it's a new project going on, so a new wing of a hospital being built, we will speak to the consultant, because the consultant will then design the the UPS and the power distribution and the IPS. So we would get involved and offer our thoughts on the size of UPS, where it should go, how they should arrange it, to give them the infrastructure and resilience and the configuration of UPS. So we was talking about modular UPSs here recently, or there are very different types of UPSs that can be used. So we would speak to the designer about that. Then we perhaps, next entry point, get involved in the contractor. But then for the ongoing maintenance of a hospital, it is the facilities and the estates. So we deal with a lot with the estates department and facilities in helping them manage the assets. A lot of hospitals have a lot of UPSs spread out everywhere, and there can be a variety of flavours of UPSs. So keeping those under control can be difficult for the estates team. So we help. We offer maintenance services where we look after those assets and put a maintenance program in place to help them keep the UPSs going, because UPSs are great when they're working. They're running a corner all day in quiet, but people panic when obviously there's a problem with them because the power goes. So we want to make sure our clients can be proactive in their maintenance to prevent.
So what would be the sort of things that might go wrong or might need maintenance with them, and where you're often called in to support a healthcare engineering team? Or
Yeah, so with a UPS, it's a box of electronics, and it will run 24/7 all day, every day, and it goes in a plant room somewhere. But there are consumables with it. So one of the most important part of the batteries.
Yeah.
So batteries have a lifespan.
Sure.
So usually they have a up to about 10-year design lifespan. But in a lot of applications, you need to replace them perhaps in the year 5 and 6 and onwards. UPSs, they have other consumables like fans and capacitors in them as well. They have a certain lifespan. So we would help the estates team and advise the estates team on the UPS. Say, look, we recommend like these items are replaced at this period of time, these are this period of time, your batteries are due here. And this helps them budget for within their operating expenditure for potential replacements. Also helps them identify which perhaps products are higher at risk and approaching end of life. But then we can also involve in what perhaps if a end of life product comes out, put a more resilient product in that's going to offer extra resilient benefits as well. So
have battery systems and the technology surrounding them improved a lot over time, so that they're much more efficient?
The UPSs, the electronics, yes, the proficiency is improved. Particularly what we did a little speech yesterday on the modular UPS. They can work very efficient at lower loads, because in a hospital, in patient care areas, the load or the electrical demands can be quite low at times, depending on the number of patients in. So efficiency is improved by the electronics. With the batteries, battery technology with UPSs has stayed the same over the years, because a UPS is a standby application. The batteries are designed for standby applications. So although there are emerging battery technologies like lithium batteries, for example, you can have UPSs with lithium. The actual real-world demand for them is quite low, because UPS just needs standby batteries. Lithium batteries are designed for
continuous use.
Continuous use, discharge, recharge.
Mobile phones or
phones, cars.
Yeah.
So that's where lithium batteries work. Within UPSs, because UPSs are trickle charging batteries all the time, and they don't always get used. They might have a couple of power cuts a year, if most. Then standby batteries is the optimum type for UPS. However, lithium is good for particularly environments where the temperature might be quite high, and other considerations. There's a limited floor space where lithium provide greater power in a smaller footprint. So there are advantages, but there are other considerations as well.
How much of an issue for a company like Power Control with your types of technology and products is carbon footprint? How much do you have to think about that as part of your overall offering and your technology?
Yeah, of course, that's key. Where we can help our clients with the carbon footprint is offering the most efficient system possible. So that many UPS technologies can be inefficient depending on how they're used and the load, which means the client is wasting electricity with the efficiency losses of the system. So we can help that with designing the system and configuring it so it works in its optimal efficiency, which can save the client obviously cost, but reduces the electricity as well. So that helps towards their carbon footprint, their demands on the grid as well. With the products in general, if keeping them well maintained means they'll last longer.
Sure.
And of course that's better if you could use a bit of equipment as long as possible, and that helps as well. So by maintaining the UPS properly, and that's within the HCE guidelines, by doing preventative maintenance with things like the batteries and fans and capacitors, then it can prolong the life of a system, and obviously that reduces cost in the future, but also, keeps that product being used longer, which is better.
Do you find that you undertake a lot of maintenance contracts with large acute hospitals, for instance? Are you providing that service very often because it's something they'd rather a specialist company dealt with, or is it split between you doing it and, say, electrical engineers in the hospital estates team doing?
With maintenance of a UPS, a specialist should maintain the UPS system. So we find that the estates use us to do that as well. But there are certain levels the estates team can do, and we provide training with that. So, for example, first line fault analysts, monitoring the systems as well, and making sure, so if the system is showing an alarm, knowing what that means, then who to call out, what response is needed as well. And we generally try to help them maintain the asset. But for actual maintenance, sort of inside the box work, then we're relied on because we're the experts. And within the HCM guidelines, it's recommended that the specialists look after that as well, because then we can give a bit of foresight onto how we think the product's going to perform.
Are the systems now, your system's set up so you can do a lot of remote monitoring yourselves without having to go to site, or is that possible?
It's possible.
But does it happen very often?
In the real world, not so much.
No.
People like having a specialist, an engineer on site when something happens.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Well, you're dealing with very high risk, I guess, as well.
That's right.
Both to safety and continuous care, really. Yeah.
And also a lot of incidences we get called to aren't always what's going inside of the box of electronics. It could be like external influences, perhaps how switchgear's been operated, or the batteries, or other things, where having an engineer on site with the estates team can look at the overall situation and pinpoint a fault that perhaps isn't always recognised by remote diagnostics. So both is possible, but we see in the industry they prefer to have the ability to have a call out, an on-site engineer go to site and respond as well. But that technologies are possible.
Tell me a little about modular UPS units, because I know you've been talking about those in your presentation, I think yesterday at Healthcare Estates.
We have, yeah. So in the world of UPSs, there are generally two types. There's the conventional system where you buy it and it has a fixed power rating and that gets installed. But with modular systems, the product, the frame, is built up of modules. They provide two advantages. You can scale power up, but also it adds resilience. So our focus within healthcare is using a modular UPS to provide more resilience, where previously the client would only perhaps look at a conventional UPS. So particularly in swap outs or upgrades of the site, or when a product's come end of life, a modular UPS can be considered to go in, because it will provide additional resilience while still using the same electrical infrastructure. So there's no need to upgrade or change the electrical supply, but the modular UPS can provide greater resilience by having additional modules. So we talked about potential failure of a UPS earlier. If that happens on a conventional UPS, that can be the whole product then needs to be what we call put into bypass and then fixed. But with a modular UPS, it will be a single module, and that can be easily swapped out either by sometimes the client or the engineer. So it's a lot quicker fix, quick mean time before repair on site. So that's an advantage of modular. And also installing them on site, there's an advantage, because in hospitals it can be tricky getting things up into the plant room, the location. And
is it a logistical challenge with some UPS units to get them in?
It is,
because of the size and I guess the location sometimes, and the fact you've got continuous hospital activities to deal with as well.
Yeah, all of those things. Because a lot of the time a UPS is installed, and afterwards plant equipment is installed around it. Particularly in modular build hospitals, UPS goes on the roof, then everything goes around it. So when you come to look at replace or repair that system, then it can be a challenge, because it's up in the roof somewhere. You've got to go up steps, the stairs, or it might be in a basement. So the locations in hospitals can be challenging. So with a modular system, you can position a machine with the modules taken out. So there's a lot of weight removed. So the main frame can get onto site a lot easier than a conventional system. And then the modules can be put in and commissioned as well. So these are key advantages for using a modular, particularly on sort of retrofit and swap outs.
Do you, as a company, do you do all your own sort of engineering? Is that something you're proud to do?
Yeah.
Is it done in I think it's Sheffield, the site?
Yeah, so our main office is in Sheffield, Power Control. We have other satellite offices through the country, and again, as mentioned, we're part of the Grand, who have many offices throughout the UK as well. So we have an engineering team. So we specialise in service and support around the UPS product. So yeah, carry out the installation, but then we can carry out the maintenance as well. So we have our own engineers who are based all over the country. So we use them on a project basis, a maintenance basis to support the product. So yeah, we can carry out our own installations and swap outs and support the customer depending on what their needs are.
And presumably for this type of equipment, if there is a need for a call out, it's the response time is very quick?
Yeah, it can be. So we offer 4-hour response times, 24/7 if the customer needs. So we have different levels of service, which range from a next day response to, I just mentioned, 4 hours response, 24/7 as well. So it depends on how critical the customer sees the system. Is it a high risk? If it's in particularly the theatre that is used 24/7 and is absolutely key to the operation of the hospital at that time, the client will want a 4-hour 24/7 response. Maybe if it's a less critical recovery area or theatre or a networking side of things, then sometimes the client will have a next day response. But yeah, we offer standard service packages, but we can tailor them slightly to customers' need. But that's what we want to make the client feel that you can rely on Power Control to look after it and give them that comfort. If they anything they need support around the product, upgrade the product, then we're the specialists. We can help them and advise them on that.
What about the impact of artificial intelligence? Is that having an impact in the design and engineering of your products?
So far, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what AI, how it's going to affect everybody.
No, sure. I just wondered whether there'd been any inroads into that sector with it.
With UPSs in the manufacturing side of thing, at the moment, no. But I know AI and computer design is obviously used a lot at the circuit level. I think in regards to the asset management and the design of critical infrastructure systems for the electrical design, then AI could play an important part as well. Where AI does affect us in the UPSs is more in the data center industry, where the demand for power is increasing because the demand for AI is increasing as well. So we're seeing a lot of demand for backup power for the AI infrastructure, and that's why there's a boom in the data center side as well. But it's a good question. We'll see. I think it'd be more in the management of installations, the management of responses, customer handling, queries around that, and the management of data as well, and how the customer can get hold of the data to be able to create the best solution for them. That's where I see AI initially being used.
I know that it's quite a competitive sector because obviously we deal with other companies in this space. What do you think makes Power Control stand out? What would you say are the major selling points of the company to somebody in a healthcare estates or a healthcare engineering role? Where do you think you really stand out?
Where we stand out and where we've invested in is the service and support side. We've been in the industry 30 years. Many in the company have been for decades in the company as well. So we've got a lot of experience in the UPS industry. So we know the applications, we know the industries, particularly healthcare, but we know the product as well. Obviously, we're part of Legrand, who are one of the world's biggest UPS manufacturers as well. So we've got a basis of wonderful products and market-leading products that we can put in as well. So we've got market-leading products, we've got the service, but we've invested in the support. We invest in the service. We have our own engineering teams in the UK. We've got over 30 people on the service side, engineers. We've got our own projects department as well, and we've got our own sales support department. So for whatever the customer needs, whether it's pre-sales advice, we're there. On behalf of a manufacturer as well, we're part of a manufacturing group, but we offer that more personal touch. All our clients have their own account managers, and the account managers have sales support teams underneath to help with things like the battery swap out, the fans, the service contracts. So we've got experts in all these different areas, and we feel that makes us very unique in the industry as well, because there are competitors, but we've invested in the service and the knowledge to be able to support the various different market sectors.
What do you think becoming part of Legrand will particularly have sort of in terms of positive impact for the business?
Positive impact to allow Power Control to grow both from the service, but with a good product portfolio. I mean, Legrand's products, UPS products, are are vast but very adaptable as well. With the big data center projects for the IT market, but also, like we've seen here, the modular products for this industry as well. So this product opens it up to, but also Legrand have a lot more offerings in the UK around infrastructure, around cable management. So we're able to see our customers where they've known us as Power Control and there to look after the UPSs. We say, oh, we're part of Legrand. Yeah. This is what we can offer.
So it's certainly expanded your capabilities and reach.
It has, and it's particularly for the States manager who's dealing with one company for UPSs, but then he's got to deal with other companies for cable management, infrastructure, fire, safety. But now being able to offer that under one brand is good for the clients, because they have one brand with multiple different product offerings, and then we can look after that for them, or put them in the right, point them in the right way to the right subsidiary in Legrand to deal with that as well. So
lots of positives.
Yeah, a lot of positives. This means a lot. It's good.
Finally, in terms of this sort of interview with you, how have you found healthcare estates this year? Has it been busy for you, and has it been productive?
Yeah, it's been very good this year. I mean, we've got a stand this year is with Legrand, so we've got a good wide variety of customers coming to see us as well. Healthcare estates is good, particularly because you get the clients here, you get the designers, the consultants, and you get a wide variety of people. So yeah, it's always positive. I think it's probably a 5th or 6th year in a row.
Yeah.
So apart from the lockdown years, we've always come here and enjoyed it as well. And yeah, we've done well. We've got a lot of new business from here, but it's also a good opportunity for us to engage with a lot of clients, particularly the healthcare sector, where a lot do come here. Then they will see us and meet us, and we host them. And
there's nothing like face-to-face contact.
You can't be face-to-face
exactly
at all. Yeah, all the time. Yeah. So this is good, and also enables us to see what else is going on in the industry as well.
Thank you very much for having a chat to me.
Thank you,
Graeme. That's great. Very interesting. I wish you a good rest of the second day.
Yeah, I will go and enjoy it. Grab a coffee.